Welcome, everyone, to the Women in Podcasting Show. In just a moment, I'm going to be introducing you to some amazing women podcasters. If you've ever thought of starting a podcast or a web show of any kind, or if you've ever wanted to be a guest on a podcast or a show, you're in the right place. We'll be chatting about how it can help grow your business and open doors to new opportunities. So my name is Jennifer Henczel. I'm a podcaster, best-selling author, and founder of Inspired Influencers. I host and produce the Inspiring Influencer Show, where my husband and I interview thought leaders about today's top marketing and mindset strategies. And you can find that at inspiring.show. And of course, I have this show, the Women in Podcasting Show, which you can find all the show notes and all the links to all of our speakers today at womeninpodcasting.show. And I founded a global network of women podcasters and expert guests. Most of our guests here today, I believe you're all members of the Women in Podcasting Club. If anyone in the audience would like more information, if you'd like to learn about monetizing your message and generating an extra stream of income, you can sign up for only $7 a month at womeninpodcasting.club.
Welcome to the Women in Podcasting Show. Enjoy inspiring stories, interesting interviews, and powerful strategies from women around the world. Jennifer Henczel spotlights today's top podcasters, new podcasters, and expert guests. Get tips for leveling up your life, gaining visibility, growing your business, monetizing your podcast, and so much more. We invite you to support women in finding their voice and sharing their passion. It's all about women empowering women.
Introduce you to these amazing women. First up, Tracy, come on up and tell us about you and your podcast.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. My name is Tracy Eamon. I'm a best-selling author of The Silver Lining of Cancer. I'm a podcast host of Silver Lining Conversations and a social media strategist to triple my business while battling cancer. I started podcasting because I was collecting stories for my book. And as I was doing that, I was having such great conversations with people and I was being inspired on the daily. And what I found was that more people needed to hear these messages. So that's how my podcast was born. I would love for people to listen to these inspirational stories on your favorite podcast platform or visit silverliningconversationspodcast.com.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. And it's such an amazing, inspiring podcast. So thank you for sharing about that. And up next is Michelle Abraham.
Hey, Jennifer and ladies, so great to be here. My podcast is called Amplify You, which is the same name as my company, where we help inspire entrepreneurs to grow their business through the power of podcasting to amplify their expertise. And of course, then the partnerships and things that happen from there are incredible. I started my podcast my podcasting journey in 2012, my actual podcast in 2018, and we've helped launch over 300 shows since then. You can find it all about our show and also about all the other shows we work with at amplifyyounetwork.com.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing. All right. Up next, Linda Mackey.
Thanks so much, Jennifer, for having me here. It's great to be here with all you guys. I'm an award-winning personal brand photographer, creative producer, and mentor for the highly sensitive creative and modern entrepreneur. And I help breathe life into your image with compelling fashion-inspired photography, as well as brand and website design. And I have a podcast called The Eloquent Entrepreneur, where I have inspiring conversations with entrepreneurs to help ignite the everyday change maker in each of us. Because I believe that you don't have to be a billionaire or a celebrity. You can be a mother of two or a business owner, anyone, and make a difference in the world. So the point of my podcast is you hear inspiring stories and wisdom from entrepreneurs and also discover practical tools that'll help accelerate your impact. Because in my 20 years as a photographer, I just noticed so many entrepreneurs were actually making a difference either in or outside of their business. So I really love helping entrepreneurs amplify their voice and their brand message. So you can learn more about me and my podcast at lindamackey.ca. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Thanks for being here, Linda. And up next, we have Daisy. Come on up.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Jen. My name is Daisy Salvation Shields, and I am the creative director, filmmaker, and founder of Alchemist Portraits and Productions, specializing in editorial portraiture and mobile filmmaking. I'm all about inspired storytelling, which is why I host the podcast, #CreativeInspo Seconds to Courage. The show's purpose is to help share real life stories of when people take inspired action to get them to do that thing. Could have been career pivots, trying something terrifying, discovering new layers of themselves. It encourages the listeners to follow your whispers, your nudges, that the possibilities are endless and within your reach too. I also share creative inspo prompts along the way. You can find more information about me and my podcast on my website, www.apporpro.ca.
Thank you so much. And up next, we have Jennifer Kramer-Lewis. Come on up.
Great. Thank you so much. My name is Jennifer Kramer-Lewis, and I am a success sorceress, shaman, and seer. I help conscious, curious entrepreneurs discover their essence and their purpose, and to express that in a way that gives them deep vitality, vibrant profit, and a brilliance that cannot be ignored or extinguished. My podcast is called Big Fat Lies, and it's dedicated to opening entrepreneurs and business owners' eyes to the big fat lies that are stopping them from being so healthy, so happy, and so wealthy in their business. It's on Friday afternoons at 1:00 Pacific on my link tree at Jennifer Kramer-Lewis.
And it's fun too. It's a fun one to listen to. It's so fantastic. All these links will be in the show notes as well at womeninpodcasting.show. And up next, we have Melody. Come on up.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, I'm Melody Ann. I'm founder of Author Nation. Author Nation helps people become successful nonfiction authors, and we have two podcasts. Author Nation interviews published authors about their book journey, helps get the word out for them, and it helps new authors get through their book journey with less stress and more joy. The other podcast we have is Confessions of a Book Coach. This is my personal journey in the publishing world, and it's all about the ups and downs of being a published author, writing a book, and promoting that book. And so both shows are live, so people can join and ask questions right on the spot. And Author Nation provides resources, support, and inspiration for authors, including writing and community sessions. So yes, people can come to the community and write their first word and the very last word of the book. You can find us at authornationtube.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Oh, wonderful. So now you've met all of our amazing women, and we had the pleasure of all speaking on stage together just a couple nights ago. And it was so much fun. And I think for most of us, it was our first live in-person event since the pandemic. And wow, what an experience it was. I think it was just such a joy just to connect with each other and meet the other women and just bring them value, and just getting out there and spreading our wings again and getting, our message into new hands. So that was a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun with all of you. And so the next question I want to ask each of you is, finish this sentence. It's a fill in the blank. Because of my podcast, and then fill in the blank, because I want to know, how it's changed your life and business, what opportunities it's brought to you, what kind of doors it's open. So let's start with Tracy.
I loved the other night as well. So thank you so much for putting that together for us. And because of my podcast, I got to meet all of you ladies, and I would have probably never met you, or we might have met in passing at a community event or online. But that's one of the biggest things that I found from podcasting is the incredible people that I'm meeting, the stories that I'm hearing, and the ability to connect people afterwards as well. So it's a wonderful way to build out your business, build out your message. And I just love being a podcaster.
Oh, incredible. Thank you for your kind words. And right back at you. It was just so touching I think that was my favorite part, is just connecting with you guys was just a really great way to restart and reset, So thank you guys. So Michelle, because of my podcast.
Because of my podcast, oh my gosh, my life has been totally changed. And, I think that connection piece that we were all so excited about on Friday, podcasting has really helped myself and others through the pandemic have that connection, even though we're through a computer. So much nicer to be in person though, but it's been great to see the podcasting. Because of podcasting, I live off the grid in the middle of nowhere on a lake. And because of podcasting, I've been able to speak with people, become friends with people, interview people, have clients on 7 different continents. And it's incredible. And that's all because of the power of podcasting. Because of my podcast, I've also almost hit 7 figures, again, from living in the middle of nowhere, all from my little tiny laptop here and my microphone. And also because of my podcast, I've been able to be included in publications like Podcast Magazine is number 14, the top 50 moms in podcasting for the last few years. So because of podcasting, the relationships overall have been the most powerful thing that I think have come from podcasting. And I'm so excited to share that with other people, that the relationships you make and the growth that you can have in your business are unparalleled by any other platform, I think.
Yeah, it's really life-changing, I've found as well. I mean, I love that. You're in a remote place, but it connects you with the world and so many people. That's great. So Linda, tell us, because of my podcast.
Thanks, Jennifer. Because of my podcast, I mean, I've really been able to really get laser focused on the clients who I want to work with. My podcast has actually been in development for about 10 years. It started out as a coffee table book, and then it became, in 2019, I started it actually as a video series, because I really wanted to highlight people making a difference for children and animals, especially in the environment. And I just didn't know how to go about it. But then when video became really prominent a few years ago, I started this video interview series, and it's called The Eloquent Entrepreneur, Conversations with Everyday Changemakers. And it's really opened up my world. I've met all the people that I want to work with and support. And so like I said before, in my photography career, I've just noticed that more and more people, not just entrepreneurs, but that's who I work with, are really, doing things to make a difference, whether it's inside or outside of their business. So it's really helped me to amplify their voice, and it's helped me to really stand out as the expert in my career as a personal branding photographer. And it's also helped me to segue into mentoring them in their business and expanding my creative collective to do brand and website design. And it's just opened up a whole new world. And then of course, meeting you guys and other podcasters and just people around the world who are, making a difference and stuff. So that's what it's really done for me. So I love it. It's become what I love a lot. It's a big part of my business that I really love. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What a great testimonial for podcasting. I mean, you're a photographer and you're using a podcast for your business, really any kind of business or
any
service
kind of
or product can use a podcast.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Linda. So up next, Daisy, because of my podcast.
Because of my podcast, it has undoubtedly given me the opportunity to connect with people I would have never dreamed of in all parts of the world. My podcast has been streamed in over 13 different countries, which is wild. I believe that as much as we want to and do receive, it's just as important to give something back to the community. This is why I started my podcast, so I can share motivational and inspirational stories that people can relate to and connect with. And most importantly, take away the message that they are not alone. Being a creative, it's so important to create community to help you stay in flow, motivated, and feel supported. Most recently, I had an amazing opportunity to be a guest speaker at the Creative Abundance Leadership Forum, which celebrated Asian women in leadership roles. So I feel like this journey is just started, and I'm so excited for what's to come.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Yes. Being an entrepreneur can be so isolating, but podcasting brings us all together and opens the doors to new connections. So up next, Jennifer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. One of the things that I noticed with my podcast is that it is able to create instant chemistry with my ideal clients. And so I have a very specific skill set. I'm a shaman, I'm a seer, I'm very connected to the earth, and I'm also connected to people's financial and wealth flows. And so people need to know for themselves if they can work with me. And so people who are interested and want to talk to me, I suggest that they listen to a few of my Big Fat Lies show. And then if they do book a discovery session for me, it means that there's a high likelihood of us being able to work together. So no more cold coffee dates or muscling my way into a lunch and learn. They just watch my Big Fat Lies show and they know for themselves if they want to work with me.
Oh, beautiful. And that is such another great testimonial of podcasting, because I mean, look at how niche you are. Look at what a special, unique gift and service you provide. And yet you're able to use podcasting to get your message out there. That's wonderful. Thank you. And Melody, because of my podcast.
Thank you. Yes, I love all of the answers are amazing. Because of my podcast, I continue to build a community within my industry. When I first started I started a YouTube channel, I was looking for people to interview. I went to a couple of people I knew, and they said, you've got to know this person, you've got to meet that person. And everyone I connected with was incredibly generous and introduced me to more and more people. So the people I've met through my podcast have been, they're industry insiders, they are experts, they are generous. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey of building this amazing publishing industry community that we do by each having podcasts and bringing each other on and talking to each other. And then authors, introducing new authors to my audience and to the world. Sometimes I am the first interview an author does. And for me, that is a really special thing. And I do everything to make them feel comfortable. And so I think my community sees that. And when you see somebody really interested in your world and what you're doing, obviously that's a community you want to belong to. And so a lot of authors join the community because they see what I'm doing and they see how generous the world can be, and who doesn't want to be a part of that?
Oh, incredible. Yes. Wow. So many unique podcasts, such a wide range of topics. And yet it's podcasting that brings us all together. This is just such an inspiring group of women in podcasting. So now I just wanted to see if you had any final words of wisdom or anything to add before we go, anything you want to tell our audience about. So any closing words, Tracy?
Thanks, Jennifer. So just remember that your message matters to somebody. Somebody out there needs to hear it. And no matter what it is that we're offering, there's still someone out there that needs to hear your message. So please don't keep it inside of you. Podcasting is a great way to get it out there, be a guest or have your own podcast. And for myself, I'm always looking for guests for both my podcast as well as an upcoming book. So please, let me know, reach out if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you. And over to Michelle.
Oh my gosh, just matching what Tracy said. I believe everyone's got a message inside that needs to get out there in this world. I was suffering, I think, from postpartum depression. I became a podcast listener, and that motivated me and inspired me to get back into my business and get back moving again. So I know the impact firsthand of how it can make on the listeners. And so I think get out there, share your message with the world. And if you want some help doing so, reach out to me at amplifyunetwork.com. We've launched over 300 shows and would love to support you in getting your message heard out in this world.
Thank you, Michelle. And up next is Linda.
Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey for me because I've been on a journey of self-expression probably since I was a kid. And I think right now is the best time to really put yourself out there with podcasting. It's just such a great vehicle to, like everyone's saying, to use your voice, amplify your voice. And for me, it was hard because I had to come out from behind the camera and actually put myself on the spotlight. So if I can do it, you can do it. And it's just, yeah, there's so many positives in so many ways. And it's just going to really help you connect with your, ideal clients and people who need you. They need to hear your message. They need to learn about your services. All of that stuff. So yeah, it couldn't be a better time to do it because it's just, still in its infancy relatively, right? So I think, there's so many opportunities.
Oh, thank you, Linda. And up next is Daisy.
Yes, thank you. So I echo a lot of those sentiments. If you're interested in starting a podcast, I would suggest don't overthink things. In fact, my mentor encouraged me to start messy. You all have a story to share and a voice to be heard. So don't downplay your experiences because they are so valid and so worth sharing. And there's an audience for everyone. If you're a business or a brand, it's important to highlight and celebrate your whys for the people who invest in you, to know why you are passionate about doing the things you do, because there is literally an oversaturated market with everything out there. But there is only one you, and podcasting is how you can stand out and how people can find you. So I invite you, together with all these other women podcasters, all these fabulous ladies, to share your story and also celebrate your moments of courage, the big ones and the small.
Oh, beautiful. So inspiring. Thank you, Daisy. And Jennifer, come on up.
I love that. I love that. Starting out messy, or maybe not even starting out at all. One of the things that I've noticed the most with my work is how generous my clients are with their time, their talents, and their expertise. And in most cases, it's being too generous, which is causing burnouts, which is one of my specialties. And that's why I created a resource called the Overgiver Solution, which is an easy to learn and use process that will eliminate overgiving and get you laser focused on what's essential for you to grow. If that includes a podcast, you're going to find out by using that resource. And it's my gift to you at overgiversolution.com. And starting out messy, or maybe even not starting out at all, is completely up to you in your heart. And if your heart has something to share, I think a podcast is such a great place to start to share that. No matter what niche you're in, you've heard I'm in a very specialized niche. And I would say my heart gets so much out of my podcast. Like every time I re-listen to my own podcast to find out what I said, because it's just been so fun for me to get to share my skills and talents and abilities with you in a way that does not burn me out.
Oh, what a gift. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks, Jennifer. And up next, Melody.
Thank you, Jennifer. So as a content creator, one of the things I do is I help people find multiple ways to get their message into the right hands. And you have ideas, you have stories, you have a message to share. And whether you want to be a podcast guest, or whether you want to start your own podcast, or maybe both, there are so many possibilities in podcasting. So I invite you to dance with the possibilities that podcasting offers you. And if you have a book, it's a great thing to talk about on a podcast. And if you don't have a book, you can consider taking a lot of ideas that you put into your podcast and turning it into a book. So podcasters can easily become authors as well. There's just so many possibilities out there for you. If you're interested in more about books, you can find more at authornationtube.com/resources, where you can get free checklists to get yourself started.
Oh, wow. Another amazing gift. Thank you, Melody. All right. Now, all of these amazing women have a podcast. We'll put their links in the show notes at womeninpodcasting.show. And I believe all of you are guests as well. You will be guests on other people's shows too, right? Is that right? Yes, everybody's nodding. Good, good. So you can also connect with these women and have them on your show as well. I can tell you, each one of these women has so much to share and so much wisdom to enrich your audience with and to enrich the world. So invite them onto your show. Well, thank you all for being here with me today. I just adore every single one of you. I appreciate you so much. And I thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Jennifer, for inviting
Thanks so
me.
much, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.